Hi. So here we are discussing some of the important ETL testing questions and answers, latest questions and answers. So without wasting time, we can start the video. But before starting video, if you are not subscribed to SQL Master, kindly subscribe to YouTube channel so that you are going to get more questions and answers about ETL testing, SQL and Oracle, and also about Informatica. So let's get started the video. But before that, once again, I show you the videos what I made throughout my YouTube channel about ETL testing and SQL and Oracle, Informatica, IICS. So you can go through these videos to get valuable knowledge. So let's get started the video. So I made the slides here. The first question is, what are the common transformation in ETL processes? Generally, we know already these things, although the list might get very long. Okay, so many transformations are available here. There are some basic steps performed during ETL process that every ETL developer should mention immediately. Data conversion, aggregation, deduplication, and filtering. Other options a candidate might mention include like data cleaning, formatting, merging or joining, calculating new fields, sorting, pivoting, lookup operations, and data validations. So these are the some common transformations in ETL processes. So second question will be like, what is a staging area? Why it is needed? Staging is an optional, that is intermediate storage area in ETL processes. The decision to stage or not to stage can be split into four main considerations. So auditing purposes. So thanks to staging area, because we are able to compare the original input file with our outcome. It's extremely useful, especially when the source system overrides the history. Example, flat files on an FTP server are being overwritten every day. So recovery needs, even though PCs are getting faster, typically having more bandwidth of nearly every form. So there are still some legacy systems and environments that are performant to extract data from. It's good practice to store the data as soon as it's extracted from the source system. So this way the staging objects can act as recovery checkpoints, avoiding the situation where a process needs to be completely returned when it fails at 90% done. So backup. In the case of failure, the staging can be used to recover data in target system. So load performance, that is, if the data has to be loaded as soon as possible into the system, staging is the way to go. Developers load the data as it into staging area, then perform various transformations on it from there. It's far more efficient than transforming the data on the fly before loading it into target system. But trade-off here is higher disk space usage. So third question is like, how do you prepare and develop incremental loads? So the most common way to prepare for incremental load is to use information about the date and time a record was added or modified. So it can be designed during initial load and maintained later, or added later in ETL process based on the business logic. It's very important to make sure that the fields used for these are not modified during the processes, and these can be trusted. So the next step is to decide how to capture the changes, but the underlying basics are always the same, no? So comparing the last modified date to maximum date already existing in the target, then taking all the records that are larger. So what is the advantage of third-party tools like SSIS compared to SQL scripts? So third-party tools offer faster and simpler development. So they can use GUIs, that is graphical user interfaces. These tools can also be used by people who are not technical experts but have wide knowledge about the business itself. So person if not came from technical background, then also he can able to use these third party tools. Okay. So ETL tools are able to generate metadata automatically and have predefined connectors for most sources. One of the most important feature is also ability to join data from multiple files on the fly. So next question is very important here. So how do you update a big table that is one having over 10 million rows? So this is what you can go through the things here. Declare at ID under control int is equal to 0, that is current batch, and at batch size is equal to 10,000. We have to divide the batch size up to 10,000, and then the results int is equal to 1, that is row count after batch. So if 0 rows returned, exit the loop. And while condition we use here at the results is greater than 0, then begin update table, set column is equal to value, where primary key column is greater than the at id control, and primary key column is less than equal to at id control plus at batch size. The latest row count. So set at results is equal to at row count and start next batch. So set at ID control is equal to at ID control plus at batch size end. So this is you have to go and make some analysis here. So then it will be very easy for you to understand this question with answer. So next one is what are the disadvantages of indexes? We use indexes to retrieve the data very fast. But what are the disadvantages of indexes? Indexes allow fast lookups, but they decrease load performance. Heavily indexed tables will not allow effective DML operations, that is insertions and updates. It's worth noting that indexes take additional disk space. Okay, so what's though the disk database backend needs to update all relevant indexes whenever data changes. It also creates additional overhead due to index fragmentation. Developers or DBAs have to take care of index maintenance, re- reorganization, and rebuilds. Index fragmentation causes serious performance issues. When new data is inserted into an index, the database engine has to find space for it. It might happen that the new data insert messes up the current order. The SQL engine might split the data from single data page, which creates an excessive amount of free space. So that is internal fragmentation. So it might also mess up the current page order, which forces the SQL engine to jump between pages when reading data from the disk. All of this creates additional overhead to process of reading the data forces random disk IO, that is input and output. So Microsoft in particular recommends reorganizing an index with index fragmentation is between 5 and 30%. So, and to rebuild it when it's greater than 30%. An index rebuild in SQL Server creates another index underneath and then replaces previous one. Rebuilding may block the whole table from reading it when using addition other than their enterprise offering. Okay, so index or reorganization is basically a reordering of leaf pages and to an attempt to compact the data pages. So what's better from performance point of view? Filtering data first and then joining it with other sources, or joining first and then filtering. So it's better to filter data first and then join it with other sources. A good way to improve ETL process performance is to get rid of unwanted data as soon as possible in the process. So it reduces the spent on time, data transfer, and input output and memory processing. The general rule is to reduce the number of processed rows and to avoid transforming data that never gets into target. So what is the purpose of data profiling ETL process? Which steps in the data profiling process are the most important? Data profiling tasks help maintain data quality. Okay, so we have to maintain here quality of data. During this phase, a number of issues are checked for and resolved. So the most important are here. key and unique identification of a row. The rows to be inserted must be unique. Often businesses use some natural keys and identify a given row, but developer must verify that this is sufficient. And about data types, column names that suggest a certain type should be scrutinized. So, will the indicated type change the meaning of column or potentially allow for the data loss? So, data types can also affect the post ETL performance. Okay. So, even if it doesn't matter much during the process, text loaded into the variable length string column will on some RDBMSs cause performance hit when users start querying the target. So next one is like relationships among data. It's important to know how table relate to each other. It might require additional modeling to join some parts of the data, avoiding losing important structural information. Another thing is to understand the coordinately of the relationship. Okay, as it determines how the table involved are going to be joined in the future. So these are the very important questions and answers about ETL testing what I find over the internet and collected those questions and answers to present for you people. So if you are not subscribed to SQL Master, kindly subscribe and I will be with you with some more ETL testing, SQL or Oracle concepts in future videos. So thanks for watching here and we will see you next video. Bye bye. Have a nice day. Take care.